welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to continue my Sidney Lumet journey through some of the films that have sort of fallen through the crack in his very prolific career. This will be the fifth movie of his I'm going to discuss, and this is 1986's The Morning After. Now, coincidentally, I'm filming this recording this video the morning after another snowstorm here in central Jersey. I dug out my car, and we only got about 4 inches and a little patina of ice on top of that, but nothing that did any damage, at least in my immediate area. Sidney Lumet's The Morning After is not about the morning after a snowstorm. However, this opens with a fairly intriguing, nightmarish kind of situation. Jane Fonda, playing a character called Alex, wakes up one morning and she, in bed, she looks at, there's a man next to her, and she looks at him. She doesn't know who he is. And then she quickly discovers that the sheets are full of blood. She thinks it must be some sort of joke. She walks around the other side. She sees a knife sticking out of the man's chest. He turns out to be some sort of health guru. I don't know if this was the time when Jane Fonda was into her health, but her health and fitness videos. But at any rate, she has no idea how she came to be in this man's bed and what could have possibly have happened to him. Did I do it myself? She begins to wonder. You wonder why she would have thought that. But then we do learn that she is an alcoholic, and when she drinks, she commonly has blackouts. And then always in these types of movies, we always wonder, why don't they call the cops? But it's explained here in that in her relationship with her first husband, she had committed assault on her first husband, violent assault, and had spent time in jail. So she expects she would be the chief suspect were she to call the police. She gets befriended by a rather strange dude driving around in an old beat-up car that smokes, and this guy is played by Jeff Bridges, and he's a kind of a whacked out kind of character, but he's very quiet. He listens very sympathetically to Alex's story, and he agrees to help. And as it turns out, he's a former police officer, a detective who says that he is on disability for a similar type stabbing, that he has compromised his use of his right arm. Now, at this point in their careers, Jane Fonda was 49, I think Bridges was 37. There's a 12-year difference, and that's kind of unusual for Hollywood back in the 80s or from before that. And Jane Fonda makes no effort. She's playing an alcoholic, and she makes no effort to play a glamorous-looking alcoholic. She's face looks like one, and ravaged. And I mean, she's still appealing, but this is not the beautiful, healthy-looking Jane Fonda. Whereas Jeff Bridges still has his boyish charm. Even though he's 37, he looks younger, and you would think, oh, this is an odd coupling, but it really isn't. This is a generic kind of movie, thriller, mystery kind of movie that was kind of common in the late 80s, early 90s. Jeff Bridges had already played in Jagged Edge. Bedroom Window is another kind of film. There were several of them. It's not the kind of project you would think would attract Sidney Lumet. Like I say, it's kind of generic. It's really not much different than any other genre movie of this type. The other odd thing about this movie is Sidney Lumet went to Hollywood to make this film. This is filmed in L.A., and as far as I can tell, it's his first film that he ever made in Los Angeles. And he had shot in Louisiana, Texas, and quite a few films in Europe, but never in Hollywood. And it's strange the way he photographs Hollywood, because it's sort of like depopulated. It's a lot of industries and warehouses, and even when they go to where Alex lives, it's very tightly focused just on going into her apartment. They do eat in a couple of restaurants, but the movie, by and large, has a kind of claustrophobic feel to it, more so to emphasize the interest in the two lead roles. And I would think that the reason that Sidney Lumet made this film was to work on a film with Jeff Bridges and Jane Fonda. Fonda gets nominated for an Academy Award for this. She was up for Best Actress in the year that Martin won for Children of a Lesser God. And there is a considerable good they're like two wounded characters. We don't really know why Jeff Bridges is all that wounded, but he certainly plays as if he's missing something. And of course, Jane Fonda is too. She had been a promising actress, but no one will hire her anymore because of her alcoholic problems. Do they complement each other? That's really the main interest. The mystery story is kind of it doesn't seem there's not much to it. There's really only one other character in the whole movie, and that's Jane Fonda's current husband, although they don't live together, played by Raul Julia, in a very important role. But so there's not like a lot of suspects or explanations that could possibly happen in this mystery story. Nevertheless, I think it's well worth seeing. If you like Sidney Lumet, you get to see him working with these two actors. I don't think they ever worked with them before, since I could be wrong on that. And their performances, as always, the precision of the performances, there's really like authentic moments. In particular, when Jane Fonda goes to hide out in Jeff Bridges's abode, which is really like a hovel in the middle of Los Angeles. But when you go inside the hovel, it's under construction, but it has charm and expresses his personality. And there's a bunch of books there, and so books on a bookcase, the whole lot. And Jane Fonda says, "Oh, you like to read books?" And he says, "No, I just like to buy them and collect them. Someday I'll get around to reading," something like that. And then Jane Fonda looks, and there's a whole collection of Nancy Drew mysteries there. And oh my gosh, you have, and it's a very authentic moment. And I have to kind of wonder if Jane Fonda said, "Put some Nancy Drew books up there," because I loved them when I was a child, and she certainly expresses a very real feeling. And there's other moments in the movie, I think, that have very real feelings, and there's also some pretty good sarcastic repartee between the two as well. So for Jane Fonda, for Jeff Bridges, I found this absorbing movie. It didn't get bad reviews. It was a Christmas movie, came out on Christmas Day, and I guess for awards, I guess probably for Jane Fonda, the movie itself, I couldn't imagine getting a Best Picture nomination. But again, with Sidney Lumet's second tier, maybe this is even third tier, it still can be an absorbing entertainment. Okay, that's it for today, and I'll catch you guys next time.